everyone, and welcome back to Carvenus 14. Now, today we are going to be talking about the Dendro element. Now, there's been a lot of rumors surrounding the element of Dendro, and a lot of people questioning when it's going to come out and how it's going to perform, and any Dendro characters coming out. So, in this video, I'm going to try and cover every single part about Dendro that we know so far. Now, obviously, for those of you guys that don't actually know what Dendro is the 7th element that's supposed to be coming out soon, apparently. When it's going to be coming out, well, we'll get onto that later. But now we're just trying to understand what Dendro really is. Now, Dendro is the elements of plants and nature. So basically it has the ability to control not wildlife, but flora and flora and greenery and vines and basically plants and nature. It's pretty self-explanatory, to be fair. Yeah, so that's what the Dendro element is. It's the 7th element that's coming out, and it's supposed to be containing the element of plants and nature. Now, how is it going to work? Now, the Dendro element is apparently supposed to be able to give to us the buffs and debuffs, such as healing as a buff and poison as debuffs. So giving our enemies or ourselves poison, stuff like that, basically. Now, of course, these are all speculations, so don't take these to heart. Take them with a very small pinch of salt, because, well, MiHoYo could change anything last minute if they wanted to. It could also be used to basically bind enemies, stop them from moving, basically. So it could be used as a supportive element in that regard. So, yeah, that's basically what I think the Dendro element is going to be capable of, and what it really is. Now, elemental reactions, I mean, there's obviously going to be elemental reactions coming out. Now, for those of you guys that actually cannot see, I will zoom in a little bit. So, the elemental reactions, now these are all community speculations. These aren't actually my speculations. They're all from the community, from Reddit pages. So, yes. Well, actually, I got these two images off of Google Images, but you know. So, yeah. Basically, here we'll basically go through the different types of reactions these two contradicting ones have here. So, Dendro and Dendro obviously equal immunity. Dendro and Anemo are supposed to give off the Dendro swirl reaction. So, obviously, when Anemo mixes with any element apart from Geo, it swirls, which boosts the other element. It's supposed to boost the other element's damage. So if Dendro and Anemo combined, it would boost the Dendro element's damage. Dendro and Hydro are supposed to grow, which apparently can heal both Dendro and Hydro units. So whether this is only going to be for Dendro and Hydro units, we don't know. Of course, this may not even be the grow reaction, but you know, we can always speculate. Dendro and Electro are supposed to give us the poison, so the poison mechanic I was talking about up here. I originally thought that Dendro could do poison debuffs on its own, but it looks like we'll have to mix Electro with Dendro in order to give off poison. Now, the effects, it can slow down and deal electro damage over time. So a bit like the electrocute reaction, where it's between Electro and Hydro here. Or maybe it can do Dendro damage over time, who knows. Dendro and Pyro, we already know that this is the burning reaction. The reason for that is because the burning reaction between Dendro and Pyro actually already exists in the game. So you can actually go out to a Dendro slime and basically infect it with Pyro, and it will give off the burning damage. Now, it basically does heavy Pyro damage, and it increases it doubles the multiplier of the Pyro. And the best thing about this is that it spreads to other Dendro elements, basically. So one Dendro slime can spread it to another Dendro slime and stuff like that. What is it? Dendro and Cryo equals super cooling, so heavy cryo damage over time. Basically the same as Pyro, according to this table anyway, so that's what it's supposed to give us. And then Dendro and Geo equal crystallize, so a Dendro crystal. So basically crystallize it forms a crystal against with a specific element. So if you mix Hydro and Geo, you get a Hydro crystal, and basically what that does is it basically blocks all elemental attacks to that specific element. So in our Hydro and Geo case, it would block all Hydro attacks, but it will still take every other element, just block Hydro. Now, we have another one here that may have some different opinions, so we'll go through that as well. Now, the Dendro Debuff. So when the Dendro, this is the Dendro status that's been applied to you. So you know how you have Pyro statuses, Cryo statuses, Electro statuses, and Hydro statuses on you, like just their element by itself. This is the Dendro status basically. So Dendro Debuff, Decaying Leaves. When affected by Dendro, it decreases the damage dealt to opponents. So what this basically means is that when you're affected by Dendro, or an opponent is affected by Dendro, they will do decreased damage towards us, or we do towards them. So to that effect, this we may not want on us, obviously. Now, the Dendro Elemental Resonance is going to be called, according to the fandom, Flourishing Leaves. It increases elemental damage by 10% and increases max health by 20% to your current party, which, again, this does seem very, very liable, because increasing elemental damage, of course, Dendro, from what the community is speculating, including myself, we all think that Dendro is going to be a supportive element, a bit like how Anemo and Geo work, but it's going to be a lot more, you know, it's going to interact with elements a bit more than Anemo and Geo does. So instead of having one specific reaction for the rest of them like Anemo and Geo does, Dendro can basically apply different ones. So it basically is going to be like Anemo and Geo, except work a lot like the other elements, if that kind of makes sense. So it's going to be a supportive element, like Anemo and Geo, as well as being a bit of an offensive element as well. So, yeah, that's what it's basically going to do. So, Flourishing Leaves, it increases the elemental damage, only elemental damage, not physical damage, only elemental damage by 10%, and increase, you know, your max health by 20%. Again, with the plant and nature element, this really does make sense, increasing your max health, which would be really good, because for characters like Zhao and Hu Tao, that go through their health, like, quite a lot, and quite consistently as well, increasing their max health would definitely be really, really good. And this would be quite good for Zhao as well, for the plunging attack, so for his ultimate, as well as Hu Tao as well. So this would be a really, really good, you know, resonance to have in the game. Now, Dendro and Pyro, again, burning, we've already gone through that. Dendro and Dendro and Pyro, I mean. I did say Pyro, didn't I? Anyway, Dendro and Pyro equals burning, we already know that. Dendro and Hydro is Revitalize, or Revitalize, which regenerates the attacker's health. So, what this means is, so it's a bit like how Grow works, but here, this one implies that it's going to happen to basically the attacker's health. So the attacker's health, that could either be us attacking or the enemy attacking us. So to that effect, I don't really know. It really does depend on the context. If this is improving our health, then definitely. But if it's like the attacker's health, then it could also mean the person attacking us. So maybe in that regard we wouldn't really want it, but then again it doesn't really make sense. So I'm presuming it is for the person that uses the Revitalize reaction. So basically, again, same here, healing and healing. Dendro and Cryo equals Frostbite, which is another name for this, deals cryo damage over time. So a bit like burning, except for what's it called? Cryo. So frostbite and burning are basically the same reaction, but for different elements, which is could be a really, really good, you know, what's it called? Reaction, especially because cryo doesn't really have a damage over time reaction yet. So that could be good. Dendro and Electro equals Wither. Deals AoE, or Area of Effect, electro damage, and decreases enemies' elemental resistance by 50%. So we've got a bit of a contradiction here. So Wither and Poison are different. So Wither will deal electro AoE damage, a bit like how Overload deals AoE pyro damage. and it will decrease enemies' elemental resistance by 50%. 50%, that's quite a high value, by the way. Just to let you know, Zhongli's shield decreases enemies' elemental and physical resistance by 20%, and that's already really, really good. So 50% would be a little bit broken, I think. So it wouldn't be a big surprise if miHoYo did tone this down if this reaction does come to pass. But let me know in the comments below which one seems more plausible and which one does seem better, Poison or Wither for the Electro and Dendro reaction. So Dendro plus Swirl, or Dendro plus Anemo equals the Swirl, which basically spreads the Dendro effect like all other elements and increases the Dendro damage. Dendro and Geo either crystallize, that gives the Dendro shield, or mineralize. When Geo reacts with Dendro, it will leave an energy orb instead of a shield that increases your elemental damage by 15% when picked up, and it lasts for 12 seconds. Again, mineralize does seem like a very, very good reaction, because as we all know, rocks do have a lot of minerals in them, like iron, stuff like that, basically, that can actually help plants grow. So mineralize with the Dendro and Geo reaction would be quite cool, and it would actually give us a new reaction for Geo, because the only reaction Geo actually has is crystallize. So giving us a new reaction for Geo would be quite good, but then again, they'd kind of have to think something for Anemo as well. So I guess maybe. So which one would you like to see out of those two as well? Mineralize or crystallize? I mean, we already do have a mineralize effect. So what I'm thinking, why don't we combine these two reactions together? So maybe form a Dendro shield and give us the mineralize perk, which honestly wouldn't be that bad. So yeah, and this would probably mean that having a double Dendro resonance and a Geo character on your team would probably be a really, really good composition. Yeah, so that's basically all of the reactions that we have to go through. So the only two contradicting ones are the Electro and Dendro and the Geo and Dendro one. So put down in the comment section below which one would you like to see out of these two. So Wither and Poison, or Wither or Poison and Mineralize and Crystallize. Which one would you guys like to see? You know, if it does come to pass. Of course, this is all speculations and fan-made. We don't really know if these are going to be the final reactions. These are just some ideas that miHoYo could definitely use. Anyway, on to the next section of the video, which we are going to be talking about, well, probably what a lot of people are here to see, the heroes. Now, there are currently, well, there's technically currently only one Dendro character that we've actually seen in the game, and there's two speculated Dendro characters that are apparently coming out. So we've got Yao Yao over here, who is another lolly type character, so she's going to have the same height and animations as some of the other small characters like Diona, Klee, and Chi-Chi. Fun fact, if you guys do want some lore about Yao Yao, I won't go too in-depth, but Yao Yao is actually training as an apprentice. She's actually an apprentice, sorry, underneath Ganyu, so she's actually working with Ganyu, and, she's an apprentice working underneath Ganyu to become, part of the Liyue Qixing. And she's also a friend of Chi-Chi, I believe, yeah. Chi-Chi and her are actually very, very good friends. Yeah, now, Yao Yao is supposed to be a Dendro Catalyst user, and she's also supposed to be a 4-star. Yeah, so what we've been speculating on Yao Yao is that she is supposed to be a Dendro Catalyst user. Now, we don't really know an awful amount of information on her, apart from, she's a 4-star, she's a Dendro character, and she's going to be a Catalyst character, and I think she's also going to be a free 4-star. Now, let me tell you guys this. Why would she be a 4-star? Well, you guys may be thinking she's probably not going to be a free 4-star, but then again, if you think about it, we got a free 4-star character for all the other elements. Lisa, a free 4-star for Electro, Kaya, a free 4-star for Cryo, Amber, a free 4-star for Pyro, Barbara, a free 4-star for Hydro, and the MC, or the protagonist, he's a free 5-star that everyone has, and he has access to the Anemo and the Geo element. So it would only make sense if we got a free 4-star character for the Dendro element as well, because we got a free character for every other element. And it would also make sense because the Dendro element is going to be a new element to the game. So allowing us to get used to the Dendro element and how its mechanics work and its playstyle and things like that would only make sense, because giving us a 5-star Dendro character would, you know, just be like, you know, here's your car, no driving test, just drive it however you want. It's going to be a bit like that. Obviously, you're going to crash. It's a bit like that, basically. So giving us a 5-star Dendro character for free may seem a little bit off. So maybe giving us someone as simple and, you know, as easy to use as Yao Yao would definitely, honestly, be perfect. So, yeah. Now, Yao Yao is also supposed to be a healer. That's right. She's supposed to be a healer as well as, you know, being what other things she is. So she's supposed to be a healer, a bit like, no idea how she's going to be a healer, like whether she's going to be a burst healer like, you know, Bennett and Jean, or if she's going to be like a continuous healer like Barbara, so someone that heals you over time. That I think she's going to be more of a continuous healer, a bit like Barbara, because, I mean, she just, you know, just looking at her, she strikes as she looks as if she's the kind of person to, you know, be quite gentle, quite soft, you know, a person that really, you know, a jovial person like Barbara, basically. So, yeah, she definitely seems like the character that would only be doing healing, and plus, if she is only a healer, a bit like Barbara, it would give us a much better, you know, a much bigger understanding of how the Dendro element is going to work. Obviously, not all the Dendro characters could probably heal, but like I said, with the Hydro and Dendro reaction, maybe they could heal the current character that's using the that's on the field, or maybe the entire party. So that's why Yao Yao may possibly be a healer, and she may probably be a continuous healer like Barbara. Now, moving on to everyone's favorite Dendro character that's probably going to be coming out, we've got Baiju. Now, Baiju is supposed to be a Dendro Catalyst or a bow user, and he's going to be a 5-star. Now, as for when we're going to be getting these Baiju, we don't know. But as for Yao Yao, I will get on to when we're going to be getting these characters in our next section, when and my reasoning for that. Now, you guys may be thinking, wait, why would Yao Yao be a Catalyst user? Like I said, because she's a free character, because she's going to be our first Dendro character, someone that can apply the Dendro element very, very easily is obviously going to be a Catalyst character, because they only do elemental attacks. So giving us the Dendro element first with a Catalyst user so that we can actually apply the element very, very easily and quickly is going to give us a much better overall thought process and understanding of the Dendro element. So it would, you know, it would make sense if Yao Yao is a Catalyst user. Now, that's not saying she will be a Catalyst user. I'm just saying that she may be a Catalyst user, and it's quite likely that she probably will be. Of course, MiHoYo can pull surprises because they've done so before on more than one occasion. So, yeah. Now, Baiju is supposedly a Dendro Catalyst or bow user. Now, the reason he's going to be a Dendro Catalyst or a bow user is because of this line. Now, if you go to Herbalist Gui in Boo Boo Pharmacy in Liyue, and you talk to him, he does have a line where he says this: Dr. Baiju himself has a poor constitution, so the job of putting the medicines together falls to me while Chi-Chi handles the herb picking. Now, if you guys don't know what a constitution is, the constitution, this is like another meaning for constitution, but it is basically a person's physical state as to regards vitality, health, and strength. Now, this is the direct Google definition of it. So, what this means is that Baiju is not as strong as he would seem, and he's actually quite a weak character in terms of his physique, his strength, and stuff like that, basically. So, he's probably not going to be a character that is as strong as to carry a claymore, or a character that has the finesse with a sword, or a person that can move really quickly with a polearm. So he can't be those three characters, and because he's so weak and frail, he's probably one of those characters that stays afar from enemies and attacks from a distance. So to that regard, he could be a Catalyst user or he could be a bow user. But then again, releasing 2 Catalyst users, maybe not back to back, but releasing 2 Catalyst users obviously wouldn't be as good, like from a marketing perspective, because people would say, oh, why would I need another Catalyst user when I've already got this Catalyst user potentially for free? There's really no point. So I'm thinking that Baiju may be either a Catalyst user or a bow user, because you never know. Baiju being a... he strikes to me as a character that is very, very mystical, very magical, so him being a Catalyst user definitely could be, you know, could be true. Now, as to what kind of character he's going to be, like, gameplay-wise, he's probably obviously not going to be a DPS, he's probably going to be a support. He's probably going to be a support because of obviously this statement down here. It wouldn't really make sense. So, yeah, now the third character that's going to be a Dendro character is obviously the Dendro Archon. Now, we all know that the Archons may sooner or later be playable. I mean, Venti, the Anime Archon, was playable, and Zhongli, the Geo Archon, was playable, so it's safe to assume that all the Archons are going to be playable. Of course, MiHoYo could pull a madness and say, nah, we're not making the Archons playable anymore, here you go. So, of course, this is, again, speculation, but the Dendro Archon, obviously, him being the Archon of Dendro, obviously has control and power over Dendro. Now, we don't know what his weapon type is. The only information that we actually do know is that the Dendro Archon is 500 years old, meaning he is the youngest Archon out of all of them. And the reason we know this is because Ganyu actually says so in the Liyue Archon quest, in the story arc, where you're picking glaze lilies with Zhongli, and, you know, the Traveler does the singing. So, yeah, at that point, Ganyu comes in and says the Dendro Archon's the youngest Archon, and a lot of people are speculating that he may be the weakest Archon, and I think the reason for that is because he's only 500 years old, which may seem very old for us. Obviously, it's ridiculously old, but in terms of the Archons, 500 years old is like, you know, like Yao Yao, Chi-Chi, Clean, Diona kind of age, basically. So he's going to be very young. Maybe we might see him in a lolly form as well. It would only make sense. So yeah, because of him being quite a you know, quite a young individual, he could actually not possess. He could probably not have, you know, complete and total control over the Dendro element, and he may be still learning or coming to grips with his element. So, to that effect, a lot of people think that he may be the weakest Archon, but of course that's all just speculation. So, as for when we're going to be getting the Dendro element, a lot of people think that the Dendro element is going to be coming in the Chasm update. Now, I think obviously this does make a bit of sense, and I'll tell you guys why. So, reason number 1, patch 1.5 is supposed to be the next big patch, in quotation marks, and it's supposed to bring back old players that have left. So, when MiHoYo released Genshin Impact, obviously there were a lot of players, and they were unhappy with the way the game really worked, so they, you know, got rid of the game and stopped playing it, obviously. But MiHoYo kind of want to make sure that they start getting new players back again, because the future patches, when we start to get patches like Inazuma and stuff like that, basically, when more exciting future content comes out, they want more people to be attracted to the game and possibly bring back older players. So because of that, instead of releasing, you know, a normal, like, you know, like a festival kind of event, like with the Windbloom Festival or the Ludi Harpastium or the Lantern Rite, that won't be enough. New characters, obviously, that would be cool, but still, probably not enough to make people come back. So we need something big, like something like new mechanics, new, like, systems, new element. That's why I think, and most of the community thinks, that patch 1.5 is going to be the patch that the Dendro element does come to the game, and it would make sense as well. Of course, patch 1.5 does seem a little bit early to some people, but, you know, this is all just speculation, and it would be the perfect time to release patch 1.5. Now, Now, my second reasoning, these two are, you know, a little bit less backed up, but there were a few sources out there. Again, I can't remember the name because I do remember seeing this quite a while ago, like back in January. There were some sources out there that actually said the artifact domain in the Chasm, if we get one, the artifact domain in the Chasm is supposed to have the Dendro artifact set. So obviously, with a new element and with there being a new element that's coming out, there has to be an artifact set that corresponds to that element, like Viridescent Veneer for Anemo, Crimson Witch of Flames and Lava Walker for Pyro, Thunder Soother and Thundering Fury for Electro, and stuff like that, basically. So it would make sense if when they released the Dendro Element, it would also make sense that the Dendro artifact set comes out with them. Otherwise, Dendro characters would be ridiculously underpowered, and there would be no point into releasing them anyway. Unless MiHoYo wanted to try and slow things down and make it so that we can understand the Dendro element, but then again, it still wouldn't make sense there either, because what's the point of understanding Dendro if we can't even use heroes to their fullest potential? So that's why there's been a source that says that the Dendro artifact may be coming in the Chasm update as well. So there's also that. Now, there's also been a few people that have actually glitched into the Chasm area. I don't know how, and I'm not promoting glitching, obviously, but there's some people that have actually actually tried to glitch into the Chasm, and they succeeded successfully. Yes, my English is on point today, as usual. So yeah, they have succeeded into getting into the Chasm area. And they have spotted multiple Dendro Slimes in that area, and they have actually been able to fight the Dendro Slimes and obtain their materials as well. So obviously these Dendro Slimes could just be there for you know, like reasons as to, like, you know, what kind of reasons would they put Dendro Slimes there? I honestly don't know. Maybe the Dendro Slimes just ended up being there when they were coding that, although I highly doubt that they just happened to have left some Dendro Slimes there. So obviously, again, if we're seeing multiple sources of saying that, you know, not multiple sources, but multiple areas of Dendro Slime concentrations, then obviously there's going to be a big focus on the Dendro element itself. Now, I haven't actually included it in this video because at the time of actually writing all this stuff, I didn't come up with it. But I do actually remember that there has been a rumored new type of enemy coming to the game, and apparently it's, of course, this is just speculation again and just rumors, but there are sources on the internet that say that, you know, there's supposed to be a Dendro Abyss Mage as well. So we've got a Hydro Abyss Mage, a Pyro Abyss Mage, and a Cryo Abyss Mage. Apparently there's also supposed to be a Dendro Abyss Mage as well. So there's that. Which honestly, would it make sense? I mean, we've got Dendro Samarchells and we've got Dendro Slimes. So Dendro Abyss Mages, which are literally mages that cast things. I mean, they're mages, obviously. They have the ability of magic. So again, being able to grow plants and vines and contraptions with Dendro would make sense. So, and a Dendro Shield as well. It could definitely, like a Dendro Energy Shield. So there's that. A Dendro Fatui Skirmisher, maybe not. And the Dendro, obviously, the Dendro heroes are probably going to have Dendro Ascension materials, like the Dendro Gemstones and the Dendro, like the Dendro World Boss material as well. Now, obviously, the Dendro element being the plant element, it would only make sense if the Dendro World Boss is a Dendro Regisvine. So, like the Cryo Regisvine and the Pyro Regisvine, we've also got the Dendro Regisvine. I mean, it only makes sense. So, yeah, that's basically been the video, guys. So, yeah, what do you guys think about the Dendro element? And do you think it's going to be coming out in patch 1.5? Do you think any of these informations are correct? And if not, what could they improve on with the Dendro element? And, you know, maybe puts down some ideas that you guys think that you would like to see in the you know, with the Dendro element. So yeah, guys, that's basically been the video. I have been CarVenus14 and still am. and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.